Do you ever find yourself sharing your plans with people, feeling excited in the moment, only to lose the drive to actually follow through? Have you noticed how talking about your goals sometimes gives you a false sense of accomplishment, leaving you stuck instead of moving forward? You're not alone. Many of us fall into this trap. But the truth is, success doesn't come from talking. It comes from focus, discipline, and silence. The most powerful victories are built in private and revealed only when they are too big to be ignored. This audiobook is about mastering that silent power. It's about learning why you should never tell people what you do until the results are too big to ignore. It will show you how to stop oversharing, protect your energy, and channel your focus into real progress. By the end, you'll understand why silence is your greatest weapon and how to let your results do the talking, so you can finally win in public. If you're tired of talking about your dreams and ready to finally live them, then stay with me, because by the end of this journey, you'll know exactly how to win in silence and shine in public. Before we dive in, we've noticed that most people who listen to our audiobooks do not subscribe to our channel, so do me and yourself a favor. Like this video, share it with someone who's ready to grow, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss the valuable insights that will help you stay unstoppable. Chapter 1: The Power of Silence in a Noisy World. Have you ever noticed how noisy the world has become? Everywhere you look, people are talking, posting, announcing, and sharing their every move. It almost feels like silence is no longer valued. But here's the truth. Silence is one of the greatest tools you can use to achieve success. Today, I want to coach you through why silence is powerful, how oversharing weakens your focus, the psychology of keeping your goals private, and why silence is not just quietness, it's protection. Let's start with something simple. Imagine two people. The first person announces to everyone that they're starting a new project, maybe a business, a fitness plan, or learning a new skill. Their friends cheer them on, they feel excited, and for a moment it feels like they've already achieved something. But as the days go by, the excitement fades, the hard work sets in, and their motivation dies out. Why? Because they've already enjoyed the praise before doing the work. Now think of the second person. They don't say a word. They wake up early, they stay consistent, and they keep moving forward quietly. Months later, they appear with results so undeniable that people are shocked. When did this happen? How did you do it? This second person understands the power of silence in a noisy world. Why oversharing weakens focus? When you tell people what you're going to do, your brain gets tricked. Psychologists call this the social reality effect. By talking about your goal, your brain releases the same chemicals as if you had already achieved it. You feel satisfied too early. And because of that, your drive to actually complete the task weakens. This is why many people start strong and fade quickly. They love the sound of praise, but the discipline of silence is missing. True achievers know that energy wasted on telling others can be redirected into focused action. Think about it this way. Every time you tell someone your next big move, you're giving away a little piece of your focus. It's like leaving the door to your house open while trying to rest. You'll always be distracted. The psychology of keeping goals private. There's another layer to this. When you keep your goals private, you protect yourself from unnecessary pressure, doubt, and criticism. Not everyone will understand your vision. Some will discourage you. Some may even secretly hope you fail. But when you remain silent, you give yourself the space to grow without interference. It's like planting a seed. You don't dig it up every day to show people. You water it, protect it, and let it grow underground until it sprouts into something real. There's a beautiful quote from Deep Work by Cal Newport that says, "Clarity about what matters provides clarity about what does not." When you're clear about your goals, you don't need to announce them. Silence helps you filter out the noise and stay centered on what truly matters. How silence protects energy. Now let's talk about energy. Energy is more valuable than time, because without energy, even if you have time, you won't achieve much. Silence is like a shield that protects your energy from leaks. When you talk too much about what you're doing, you invite opinions, questions, and distractions. And every response takes energy. Some people will doubt you. Some will tell you it's impossible. Some will push their fears onto you. Before you know it, you're exhausted before the real work begins. But when you remain silent, you keep that energy inside. You invest it into your work, your discipline, your daily progress. And when the results come, they are undeniable. Let's look at an example. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, was known not just for his leadership, but also for his ability to remain silent and observe. During his presidency, he was often surrounded by critics, advisors, and even enemies. Yet, he mastered the art of listening more than speaking. Lincoln rarely revealed his full plans or emotions publicly. Instead, he worked quietly, gathering information, studying people, and making calculated decisions. Historians have noted that his silence was one of his greatest strengths. It confused his opponents and gave him the advantage of clarity. Lincoln once said, "Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak and remove all doubt." That discipline of silence helped him navigate one of the most difficult periods in history. His story reminds us that silence is not weakness. It is a form of strength. So let me ask you, are you using your silence as a weapon, or are you wasting your energy by talking too much about your goals? Remember, not everyone needs to know what you're working on. The more you keep private, the more power you hold in your hands. This doesn't mean you should isolate yourself. It means you must learn the art of strategic silence, knowing what to share and what to protect. Key takeaways for you. Oversharing weakens focus. Talking about your goals can trick your brain into feeling satisfied before the work is done. Private goals grow stronger. Just like seeds, your goals need protection in silence to grow roots before they see the sun. Silence protects energy. The less you reveal, the less interference you face, and the more energy you can direct toward action. Silence is strength, not weakness. World leaders, thinkers, and successful individuals use silence as a tool for clarity and success. If this chapter has given you something to think about, then I invite you to take one simple action today. Choose one goal and keep it completely to yourself. Work on it in silence and watch how much more focus and energy you gain. Now let's move to Chapter 2, where we'll uncover why people fail when they talk too much. Chapter 2. Why people fail when they talk too much. Let me ask you a question. How many times have you told a friend or a family member about something big you were planning to do? Starting a business, writing a book, learning a new skill. And in that very moment, you felt proud, almost like you had already achieved it. But then weeks or months passed, and the plan never really happened. You see, this is one of the hidden traps of talking too much about our goals. The moment we speak them out loud, especially to others, our brain rewards us with a little rush of dopamine. The same chemical that makes us feel good when we eat our favorite meal or receive a compliment. That quick high gives us a sense of accomplishment, but here's the danger. It tricks us into feeling like we've already done the hard work, when in reality, we've only spoken words. This is what I call the danger of premature praise. When people clap for you too early, when they cheer for something you haven't actually achieved yet, your motivation weakens. You've received the reward before you earned it. That's why so many dreams die right after being spoken. Psychologists have studied this phenomenon. In one famous study, researchers found that people who declared their goals publicly were actually less likely to achieve them. Why? Because once others acknowledged their ambition, they lost the drive to keep going. The brain confused recognition with accomplishment. That's the false sense of progress that talking too much creates. Let's think about this in real life. Imagine someone announcing to everyone that they are going to run a marathon. The moment they tell the story, people admire them, congratulate them, even call them disciplined. They feel good about themselves. But here's the problem. When the alarm rings at 5 a.m. and it's time to run, the fire isn't as strong anymore. The praise has already been received. Without discipline to push through, the marathon never happens. Now, let's bring in the example of Winston Churchill, one of the most resilient leaders in history. During his time, Churchill was famous not for boasting about what he planned to do, but for acting, and then allowing his words to strengthen action afterward. He once said, "I like things to happen, and if they don't happen, I like to make them happen." Notice that he didn't say, "I like to talk about things happening." His legacy wasn't built on premature announcements. It was built on action, persistence, and results that history could not ignore. Compare that to people who make bold promises in public, but fail to deliver. History is full of leaders, athletes, and innovators who spoke loudly about what they were about to achieve, only to disappear when the pressure came. Their names are forgotten because they allowed talk to replace work. Let me share another perspective. The author Derek Sivers, in his book Keep Your Goals to Yourself, explains that announcing your goals can make you less likely to achieve them. He warns, when you tell someone your goal and they acknowledge it, psychologists have found that you are less motivated to do the hard work to actually accomplish it. This is a crucial lesson for us all. Words don't equal progress. Execution does. Think about the entrepreneur who quietly builds their business behind the scenes. While others are busy talking about their big ideas, this person is studying, experimenting, failing, learning, and improving. Then one day, their work speaks for itself. They launch a product, open a store, or dominate an industry. People are shocked, asking, "Where did this come from?" But the truth is, it came from silence, focus, and refusing to trade dreams for empty words. This is why many people fail when they talk too much. They burn out their own fire before the journey even begins. They spend so much energy telling others what they will do that they forget to channel that energy into actually doing it. So, how do we avoid this trap? Let me give you some practical steps. Resist the urge for validation. When you have a new goal, keep it to yourself until you've built consistency. The applause you need isn't external. It's in the quiet progress of showing up every day. Write, don't announce. Instead of telling the world, write your goals in a private journal. Track your actions. Every ticked box becomes your silent applause. Create accountability through action, not words. If you want to run that marathon, sign up and pay for it. If you want to write that book, commit to a daily word count. Let your commitment be the proof, not your speech. Save the story for later. Let people hear about your journey when the results are undeniable. Until then, stay low-key and keep working. Here's a key takeaway for you. Every time you feel tempted to announce your plans, remember, you can either have the temporary pleasure of people's praise now or the lasting satisfaction of results later. But you cannot have both. And here's the truth. The world doesn't reward intentions, it rewards outcomes. When you keep your focus in silence, the day you finally win, you won't need to explain yourself. Your success will be loud enough for everyone to hear. So ask yourself, are you living for applause, or are you living for results? If you want to avoid failure, keep your dreams guarded like a seed underground. Don't dig it up every time someone passes by. Water it with silence, protect it with discipline, and let it grow. Because when it finally blossoms, the world will see a tree that speaks louder than any promise ever could. If this message spoke to you, take a moment right now to like this audiobook, share it with someone who needs this reminder, and subscribe to this channel. That way, you'll never miss the next powerful chapter on your journey to silent success. Remember, your future is built in silence, but your victory will be heard by all. Chapter 3: The Science of Focus and Concentration. Let's pause for a moment and think about something very important. Have you ever tried to do too many things at once? Maybe checking your phone while working on a task, holding a conversation, and planning tomorrow in your head, only to realize you got almost nothing done? You felt busy, but you didn't actually make progress. That, my friend, is the trap of scattered attention. Science tells us that the human brain isn't built to handle multiple demanding tasks at once. When our attention is scattered, we pay a heavy price: slower progress, more mistakes, and wasted energy. Psychologists call this switching cost. Every time you move your focus from one task to another, your brain spends extra energy readjusting. And the more you switch, the more you lose. On the other hand, when your attention is concentrated, fully locked onto one task, you enter what experts call the flow state. In flow, Time seems to disappear, distractions fade away, and your brain works at its highest potential. This is when breakthroughs happen. This is when big goals are achieved. Take Winston Churchill, for example. During the darkest days of World War II, when his country was under siege and the world seemed to crumble, he had every reason to be scattered. But Churchill was famous for his ability to concentrate. He would dedicate deep, focused time to writing speeches that lifted the spirit of millions. He didn't waste his energy explaining or debating endlessly with doubters. He understood that his greatest weapon was focus. Those speeches, crafted in silence, became powerful instruments of hope and strength. His ability to lock in and concentrate was as vital as any weapon on the battlefield. This principle doesn't just apply to world leaders, it applies to you. Imagine your brain as a beam of light. When it's scattered, it's like a weak lamp, barely lighting up a small room. But when it's concentrated, it's like a laser, sharp enough to cut through steel. That's the power of focus. Now let's talk about multitasking. For years, people believed that multitasking was a sign of intelligence. But research has shown the opposite. Multitasking lowers performance, reduces creativity, and increases stress. In fact, according to a study published in the journal Cognitive Control, multitasking can reduce productivity by as much as 40%. Think about that, almost half of your potential wasted just because your attention was divided. Even more dangerous is the need for public validation. When you constantly tell people what you're working on, you trick your brain into thinking you've already achieved something. You feel rewarded for talking instead of rewarded for doing. This false sense of accomplishment kills momentum. Real success doesn't come from applause at the beginning. It comes from results at the end. So, what can you do to sharpen your focus daily? Let's break it down into simple, actionable steps. Step 1. Eliminate distractions. Choose a quiet place when working on your most important tasks. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Silence your phone, close extra tabs, and protect your attention as if it were gold, because it is. Step 2. Use the power of time blocking. Divide your day into chunks of focused work. For example, dedicate 90 minutes to one important task without interruption, then take a short break. This mimics how your brain naturally works best, in cycles of deep focus followed by recovery. Step 3. Practice mindful single-tasking. When you eat, just eat. When you read, just read. When you work, just work. Training your mind to stay present in small things will strengthen your ability to stay present in big things. Step 4. Write before you speak. Instead of announcing your plans, write them down. Use a journal to track progress, ideas, and breakthroughs. This builds accountability with yourself, not with an audience waiting to be impressed. Step 5. Guard your energy. Focus isn't only about time, it's about energy. Sleep well, eat healthy, and exercise regularly. A tired, drained mind cannot focus. Remember, even Churchill, in the midst of war, made time for naps and relaxation to recharge his mental strength. There's a powerful quote from Cal Newport's book Deep Work. Clarity about what matters provides clarity about what does not. When you know exactly what your priorities are, it becomes easier to block out distractions. Deep work, working in silence, without constant interruptions, is how great achievements are born. Think about it. The athletes who dominate in their field, the scientists who make discoveries, the entrepreneurs who change industries. None of them achieved greatness by talking endlessly about their plans. They did it by entering deep focus, working consistently, and letting their results announce them to the world. Now let me ask you, what would happen in your life if you gave your goals the same deep concentration? Imagine removing distractions, ignoring unnecessary validation, and focusing like a laser on your most important task. How much faster would you move? How much stronger would your results be? Remember, scattered attention weakens you. Concentrated attention empowers you. Silence protects your momentum. And consistency guarantees your success. Key takeaways for you. The brain works best when focused on one task, not many. Multitasking and oversharing your plans steal your energy and slow progress. Concentration creates breakthroughs. Distraction creates delays. Use silence, journaling, and deep work to protect your momentum. Let your results, not your words, do the talking. So, my challenge to you today is this. Choose one important task, block off time for it, and give it your undivided focus. Work on it in silence. Don't tell anyone. Don't seek validation. Just do the work. Then, when the results appear, let them speak louder than any announcement you could have made. If you're finding value in this audiobook, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so more people can join us on this journey of self-improvement. And remember, focus in silence, and one day the whole world will celebrate your victory. Chapter 4: Building Self-Discipline in Private. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you set a goal and promised yourself you'd stay consistent? But somehow, distractions got the best of you. Maybe you wanted to exercise daily, maybe you wanted to save money, or maybe you wanted to learn a new skill. But instead, you found yourself scrolling endlessly, talking about it more than doing it, or losing motivation after a few days. This is the silent struggle most people face, the battle of self-discipline. And here's the truth. Discipline is not built in the spotlight. It's not built when people are watching you. Discipline is built in private, in those unseen hours when no one is clapping for you, when no one even knows what you're doing. Why is discipline easier in private? Because in private, there is no performance. There is no need to impress. You don't have to worry about judgment or applause. It's just you and your commitment. Think about it. A musician doesn't master their craft on stage. They master it in the quiet hours of practice, long before anyone hears a single note. An athlete doesn't build strength on the day of competition. They build it in silent training sessions when no one is watching. One of the most powerful examples of this is Winston Churchill, the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom during World War II. Before he became a celebrated leader, Churchill was known for his strong speeches. But few people know that he had a severe speech impediment as a child. He spent countless hours alone, practicing his words in front of a mirror, repeating sentences over and over, and even writing out his speeches by hand to perfect every pause and rhythm. He didn't announce to the world that he was practicing. He didn't post about his struggles. In silence, he disciplined himself until his words carried the power to move nations. His private discipline became his public victory. This shows us something important. If you want to be great, you must first master yourself in silence. Now, let's get practical. How do you build self-discipline in private? Let me share with you 3 powerful routines that can transform your focus and strengthen your self-control. First, start your day with structure. If you wake up and immediately grab your phone, your day begins with distraction. Instead, begin with a routine that sets the tone for discipline. It doesn't have to be complicated. It could be making your bed, doing 10 minutes of exercise, or spending a few minutes journaling your goals for the day. This small act of control in the morning creates momentum for the rest of the day. Second, replace temptation with productivity. Most people fail at discipline because they keep distractions within reach. If you're trying to focus on writing, but your phone is right beside you, guess what? You'll pick it up. If you're trying to eat healthy but you stock your home with junk food, eventually you'll give in. Discipline is not just about willpower, it's about environment. Remove the distractions and replace them with tools that fuel your growth. For example, instead of keeping your phone nearby while working, keep a notebook where you can jot down ideas. Instead of filling your kitchen with snacks, stock it with fruits and healthy options. Third, create a system of private accountability. This is powerful. Most people think accountability means announcing your goals to others, but that often backfires. Instead, track your progress privately. Use a calendar to mark every day you stayed consistent. Keep a personal journal of your wins and struggles. Treat yourself like a coach would. Observe your behavior, give yourself feedback, and adjust. This way, you stay accountable without the need for external validation. Let me also remind you of a famous quote from the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. That means it's not enough to simply want success. You must design systems that make discipline easier for you. Systems built in private become the foundation of your public achievements. Now, I know building self-discipline isn't easy. It requires sacrifice. It requires saying no when it would be easier to say yes. It requires waking up early when you'd rather sleep in. But remember this: every act of private discipline compounds into public power. Think of someone training for a marathon. No one sees the early morning runs, the blisters, the exhaustion, the countless hours of practice. But on the day of the race, when they cross the finish line, everyone sees the result. The applause is for the finish line, but the real victory was won in the discipline of private training. And maybe you're wondering, what if I fail? What if I break my discipline? The truth is, everyone stumbles. Even the most disciplined leaders in history struggled. But the difference between failure and success is whether you get back up and continue in silence. Self-discipline is not about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about choosing to return to your path again and again, no matter how many times you fall. So, here are your key takeaways from this chapter. Discipline is easier in private because you remove the pressure to perform and focus only on your commitment. Daily routines matter. Start small. Structure your mornings, remove temptations, and track your progress privately. Environment beats willpower. Don't fight distractions. Replace them with productive tools. Systems create success. Goals may inspire you, but systems built in private will carry you to victory. Consistency is greater than perfection. Fall down 7 times, stand up 8. Remember, the world does not need to see your struggle. They only need to see your results. So build in silence. Discipline yourself in the private hours. And when the time comes, your success will be undeniable. If you've gained value from this audiobook, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that more people can join you on this journey of self-improvement. Your support helps us continue creating powerful content to guide you towards your best self. Chapter 5: Energy Management: Protecting Your Fire. Let me ask you a question. What do you value more in your life? Your time or your energy? Most people will quickly say time because we've all heard the saying, time is money. But the truth is, time without energy is useless. You can have all the hours in the world, but if you're drained, unmotivated, or distracted, you won't be able to use those hours to create anything meaningful. Think about it. Have you ever had a full day ahead of you, plenty of hours to get things done, yet you ended up doing almost nothing because you were tired or mentally exhausted? That's proof that energy, not time, is the real fuel for success. Time is the container, but energy is what fills it with productivity, creativity, and results. A powerful example of this truth comes from Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th President of the United States. Roosevelt was known for his boundless energy. Even after being shot in the chest during a campaign speech, he still stood before the crowd and spoke for 90 minutes before going to the hospital. His ability to endure and push through was not just about courage, it was about energy management. He cultivated habits that kept him physically strong and mentally sharp, from daily exercise to disciplined reading. He understood that protecting his fire, his energy, was essential for achieving his goals and leading effectively. Another leader who mastered energy management was Queen Elizabeth II. She reigned for decades, carrying the weight of public duty, ceremonies, and political responsibilities. While many leaders in their older years slowed down, she kept working tirelessly, traveling, and showing up for her people. What was her secret? She managed her energy by maintaining routines, delegating wisely, and guarding her private time. Her longevity in leadership wasn't about having more time. It was about protecting her energy. Now, why is energy more valuable than time? Because energy determines the quality of how you use your time. In his book The Power of Full Engagement by Jim Loehr and Tony Schwartz, the authors write, "Energy, not time, is the fundamental currency of high performance." Loehr and Schwartz, 2003. This means that no matter how much time you allocate, without the right energy, nothing great can be achieved. Let's talk about something that silently kills your energy: what I like to call the energy vampires. These are people, habits, and environments that drain your motivation, your positivity, and your focus. You've probably experienced this. You share an idea with someone, and instead of encouragement, they respond with negativity, doubt, or unnecessary criticism. By the end of that conversation, you feel less motivated than when you started. That's an energy vampire at work. World leaders understand the importance of avoiding energy vampires. For example, Barack Obama once said that during his presidency, he was careful about who he surrounded himself with. He knew that negative voices could derail his focus, so he chose advisors and friends who were solution-driven, not problem-focused. Protecting his mental energy allowed him to handle one of the most stressful jobs in the world with composure. Energy vampires are not only people, they can also be your habits. Scrolling endlessly on social media, engaging in gossip, worrying about things outside your control. These all steal your energy without you realizing it. Imagine trying to run a marathon while carrying bags of sand on your shoulders. That's what it feels like to live with draining habits. So, how do you protect your fire? How do you recharge and sustain your energy? Let's break it down into simple, actionable steps. 1. Guard your mornings. Your first hour sets the tone for your entire day. Avoid jumping into distractions. Instead, focus on activities that energize you. Exercise, meditation, reading, or journaling. Think of it as charging your battery before you use it. 2. Learn to say no. Not every request deserves your energy. Some tasks are distractions disguised as opportunities. Practice saying no to things that don't align with your goals. This protects your energy for what truly matters. 3. Surround yourself with energizers. Find people who uplift you, challenge you positively, and inspire you. Just like negativity is contagious, so is positivity. Protect your circle. 4. Take energy breaks. Even world leaders know the power of rest. Winston Churchill, for example, was famous for taking afternoon naps, which he credited for keeping his energy sharp during World War II. Short breaks, deep breaths, or a quick walk can refresh your energy more than pushing through fatigue. 5. Protect your mental diet. Just as junk food harms your body, negative information harms your energy. Be selective about what you read, watch, or listen to. Choose books, podcasts, and conversations that feed your mind with strength. 6. Balance your physical energy. Your body is your energy engine. Regular exercise, good sleep, and healthy eating are not luxuries, they're necessities for sustained focus. Look at leaders like Jacinda Ardern, former Prime Minister of New Zealand, who spoke openly about the importance of balancing her demanding career with personal well-being. She knew that without energy, leadership would collapse. Let me give you a relatable scenario. Imagine two people with the same 24 hours. One wakes up refreshed, eats a healthy breakfast, spends 2 hours on focused work, and takes a short break. The other stays up late, skips breakfast, and spends the first 2 hours scrolling through their phone. Who do you think will achieve more that day? The difference isn't time, it's energy. Now, here's the golden rule. Energy flows where focus goes. If you spend your energy complaining, worrying, or trying to please everyone, your fire will burn out quickly. But if you spend your energy on what matters, your goals, your growth, your vision, then your fire will keep burning strong. Key takeaways for you. Energy is more valuable than time because it determines how well you use your hours. Avoid energy vampires, negative people, toxic habits, and draining environments. Protect your fire by guarding your mornings, saying no to distractions, surrounding yourself with uplifting people, taking breaks, and managing your mental and physical health. Remember, your energy is your most powerful currency. Spend it wisely. Protecting your energy is protecting your destiny. Don't let anyone or anything drain the fire that fuels your dreams. Use it wisely, recharge it often, and watch how far it will carry you. If this chapter gave you value, don't forget to like this audiobook, share it with someone who needs this message, and subscribe for more powerful lessons on self-improvement and success. Remember, guard your fire, focus in silence, and one day the world will see your results burn brightly in public. Chapter 6: The Role of Delayed Gratification. Let me ask you a question. How many times have you wanted quick results? Maybe you started a new project, a workout routine, or even a business idea. And within a few days, when the results didn't show up fast enough, you felt discouraged. You wanted recognition. You wanted people to clap for you immediately. And because it didn't happen, you gave up. This, my friend, is the silent killer of success. It's called the craving for instant gratification. The desire to enjoy the reward before the work has fully matured. And let me tell you, instant recognition might feel good in the moment, but it destroys long-term success. You see, the people who achieve extraordinary things in life are those who master the art of delayed gratification. They understand that the seed you plant today doesn't bear fruit tomorrow. You must water it, nurture it, protect it from storms, and wait patiently for it to grow. That waiting, those silent years of effort, are what separate the winners from the quitters. Think about leaders like Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in prison before stepping into the spotlight as a symbol of freedom. But since we've already talked about him in previous chapters, let's consider a different leader, Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana. When he led the fight for independence, it didn't happen overnight. He spent years organizing, sacrificing, enduring imprisonment, and being misunderstood. But he held on to the vision. He didn't crave instant applause. He endured the long, hard road. And in the end, his patience gave birth to a movement that changed the destiny of a nation. Another example is Martin Luther King Jr. His famous dream wasn't realized in his lifetime, but his patience and relentless focus paved the way for civil rights progress that the world still benefits from today. He faced rejection, threats, and setbacks, but he didn't seek quick wins. He understood that some victories require time, persistence, and faith. Now let's bring it closer to your personal life. Imagine a young professional who works in silence, learning, building skills, and gaining experience while their peers chase quick applause by showing off on social media. At first, it looks like the flashy ones are ahead. But fast forward 5 years. The silent professional now has real results, a solid reputation, and opportunities that the quick talkers can only dream about. That's the power of delayed gratification. Psychologists actually studied this. You might have heard of the Stanford marshmallow experiment. In the 1970s, researchers gave children a choice: 1 marshmallow right now, or 2 if they could wait for a short period of time. Decades later, they followed up with these children as adults. The ones who had learned to wait were more successful in their careers, had better health, and stronger relationships. Why? Because they understood the value of waiting for something better instead of grabbing what was easy in the moment. One of my favorite books that dives into this idea is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. He talks about the principle of effectiveness being rooted in patience, discipline, and focusing on long-term goals rather than short-term excitement. He says, the key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. That means building your life around long-term value, not short-term pleasure. So how do you train yourself to embrace patience? Let me give you a few practical steps. Shift your focus from outcomes to process. Instead of saying, I want to lose 10 pounds in 1 month, focus on daily habits like eating right and exercising. The results will come naturally. Break big goals into small wins. Celebrate progress privately. Each step is proof that you are moving closer to the bigger picture. Limit the need for outside validation. Don't run to social media or friends every time you make a small move. Keep it to yourself. Document your progress in a private journal instead. Use the power of visualization. Picture the long-term reward. Athletes often do this. They visualize holding the trophy long before they ever step onto the field. Build endurance for waiting. Waiting is uncomfortable, but it's also powerful. Learn to sit with the discomfort of not yet. That's where growth happens. Now let's revisit why instant recognition kills long-term success. When you rush for quick applause, you trade the future harvest for a momentary thrill. Imagine a farmer digging up seeds a week after planting just to check if they're growing. he will never see a harvest. The same applies to your dreams. Stop digging them up. Stop looking for applause too soon. Water them, nurture them, and be patient. History shows us that the greatest leaders, innovators, and thinkers were masters of patience. Think of Mother Teresa. For years, she worked quietly in the streets of Calcutta, serving the poorest of the poor. Recognition didn't come instantly, but her patience, her persistence in the unseen, eventually made her a global symbol of compassion. Or consider Barack Obama. Before becoming president, he spent years in grassroots community organizing, often with no spotlight, no cameras, no applause. Those silent years of preparation built the foundation for his later leadership. Here's the truth. The world often doesn't reward patience immediately, but eventually it rewards it abundantly. So, I want you to ask yourself right now, are you willing to wait? Are you willing to work silently, day after day, without anyone clapping for you, until the results are too big to be ignored? Because if you are, then you are already on the path to greatness. Key takeaways for you. Instant gratification is a trap that kills momentum. Delayed gratification is a skill that can be trained through habits and discipline. Focus on the process, not the quick reward. The greatest leaders and achievers are proof that patience pays off. Your silent years are not wasted. They are preparation for your public victory. Remember this, anyone can get excited about starting, but only the patient, disciplined, and focused see their dreams through to the end. Learn to delay gratification, and you'll unlock the kind of success that lasts a lifetime. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you can stay motivated on your journey to silent success. And share this audiobook with someone who needs to be reminded that patience is power. Chapter 7, Social Media, the Silent Dream Killer. Do you ever feel the urge to share your plans on social media the moment you think of them? You come up with a great idea, feel a rush of excitement, and before you even take the first real step, you've already posted about it. You may get likes, comments, and people cheering you on. It feels good. It feels like progress. But here's the truth, that feeling is an illusion. Social media can be a silent dream killer. The moment you announce your goals, you trick your brain into thinking you've already achieved something. You get that temporary high from external validation, and suddenly, the hunger to do the real work weakens. Instead of staying focused, you begin to chase approval, scrolling for reactions, checking who liked, who commented, and who's paying attention. Before you realize it, your energy is scattered, your discipline is gone, and the fire that was meant to drive your success is reduced to ashes. Let's be honest. How many times have you told the world about a new project, a fitness journey, or a business idea, only to lose momentum weeks later? This is not a coincidence. It's human psychology. Studies have shown that talking about your goals publicly can reduce the likelihood of actually achieving them. Why? Because your brain interprets the applause and recognition as a reward, the same way it would if you had already achieved the goal. You enjoy the satisfaction of the praise without doing the work. Now, think about world leaders who rose to greatness. One strong example is Angela Merkel, the former Chancellor of Germany. She was not someone who constantly announced her every move. She led with quiet focus, often described as the silent strategist. While others loved the spotlight, Merkel built her power by working steadily behind the scenes, making decisions that shaped the future of her country and even influenced global politics. She understood the value of quiet strength, letting her actions speak louder than promises. Her success reminds us that real power does not need to be broadcasted in advance. On the other hand, look around today's digital landscape. Millions of people talk about building businesses, achieving financial freedom, or creating healthier lifestyles. But if you track them over time, you'll notice that most never follow through. They spend more time curating their image online than actually doing the work offline. They become addicted to the illusion of progress. In his book Deep Work, author Cal Newport says, "Clarity about what matters provides clarity about what does not." This quote is powerful when applied to social media. If your goal is crystal clear in your mind, then the likes, the shares, and the temporary applause won't matter. What matters is execution. What matters is putting in the silent, unseen hours of deep work that lead to lasting success. Now, let's talk about how you can use social media strategically, without letting it destroy your focus. Because the truth is, social media is not evil. It is a tool. And like any tool, its value depends on how you use it. First, use social media as a library, not a diary. Instead of posting every step of your journey, use it to learn, gather information, and be inspired. Follow people who are doing what you want to achieve. Study their moves. But resist the temptation to constantly announce your own moves. Remember, silence builds strength. Second, create before you consume. If you must use social media for your goals, let it be at the end of the process, not the beginning. Work on your project, achieve a milestone, and then share the result as proof of your journey. This way, you're not promising the world, you're showing them evidence. People respect results far more than intentions. Third, practice digital discipline hacks. For example, turn off unnecessary notifications. Every beep and buzz is a thief of your attention. Set strict time blocks for social media use and stick to them. Replace endless scrolling with focused engagement. Ask yourself, am I learning something right now or just wasting time? Another hack is what I call the silent 90 days rule. If you have a new goal, whether it's starting a business, learning a skill, or improving your health, commit to working on it silently for at least 90 days before saying a word about it. By then, you'll either have real progress to show, or you'll realize it wasn't the right path. Either way, you avoid the trap of public accountability without results. Let me give you another real-world perspective. Lee Kuan Yew, the founding father of modern Singapore, transformed a small island nation into one of the most successful economies in the world. How did he do it? Through discipline, long-term vision, and quiet execution. He didn't waste energy on unnecessary publicity stunts. Instead, he focused relentlessly on building systems, strengthening policies, and delivering results. His silence was not weakness, it was strategy. By the time the world noticed, his results were undeniable. This is what you need to understand. The more you talk, the more you leak your power. The more you focus, the more you multiply your power. Your silence creates mystery, and mystery commands respect. So here's the truth. If you want to win in public, you must first master the art of working in private. Let your silence be your strength. Let your discipline be your shield. And let your results be your voice. Key takeaways for you. Talking about your goals publicly creates an illusion of progress and weakens your drive. Use social media as a tool for learning, not a stage for constant announcements. Apply digital discipline. Turn off distractions, create before you consume, and commit to silent 90-day work periods. Remember the examples of leaders like Angela Merkel and Lee Kuan Yew, who used silence as a strategy and shocked the world with results. Real success doesn't need constant explanation. It speaks for itself. If this chapter spoke to you, I want you to take a moment right now, like this audiobook, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and subscribe for more powerful lessons on personal growth and silent success. Remember, stay focused, stay disciplined, and let your results do the talking. Chapter 8: The Psychology of Critics and Naysayers. Do you know what's interesting about chasing your dreams? The moment you take the first step, critics will appear. Some will doubt you openly. Others will discourage you subtly, planting seeds of fear in your mind. And almost all of them will try to make you feel like your dreams are too big, too risky, or simply impossible. But why is that? Why do people discourage dreamers? The truth is, critics often see the world through the lens of their own limitations. When you say you want to achieve something extraordinary, it reminds them of what they couldn't do, or what they were too afraid to try. Your courage shines a light on their fears, and instead of being inspired, they attack. This is not really about you, it's about them. Think about it. If you've ever shared your goals with someone and they laughed, or told you it wouldn't work, wasn't that more about their belief system than yours? They might even think they're protecting you from failure, but in reality, they're projecting their doubts onto you. History is filled with examples of leaders and innovators who faced harsh critics. Take Theodore Roosevelt, for instance. As the 26th President of the United States, he was constantly mocked for his ideas, his energy, and even his voice. Many saw him as too aggressive, too outspoken, and too unconventional. Yet he pressed forward, famously saying in his 1910 speech, "It is not the critic who counts. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena." In other words, critics sit on the sidelines, but it's the doers, the ones in the arena, who make history. This brings us to an important truth. If you are criticized, it usually means you are moving. You are in the arena. You are daring greatly. Now, how do you build mental toughness against negativity? Because the reality is criticism stings. Words can cut deep. But here's the secret. You must learn to separate feedback from negativity. Constructive feedback can help you grow. Toxic negativity, however, is just noise. One way to strengthen yourself is to adopt what I call the filter mindset. Imagine your mind as a filter. When people speak, their words pass through this filter. Helpful advice is allowed to stay. Hurtful, baseless criticism is washed away. You decide what enters your spirit. A powerful example of this resilience comes from Malala Yousafzai. She was a young girl who simply wanted an education in a place where that was forbidden for girls. Her critics were not just doubters, they were violent oppressors. They tried to silence her voice forever. But Malala's mental toughness became her shield. She said, "They thought that the bullets would silence us, but they failed." She turned her critics into fuel for her mission, and eventually won the Nobel Peace Prize for her courage. What can we learn from her? That no critic has the final word over your life, unless you hand it to them. Your silence, your focus, and your persistence can disarm even the loudest naysayers. Here's another perspective. Sometimes the best answer to criticism is no answer at all. Silence is powerful. It confuses your critics because they expect you to argue, defend, or explain. But when you simply keep working, keep moving, and keep building, your results become the loudest response. Think of Angela Merkel, the former Chancellor of Germany. She was often underestimated, labeled boring and uncharismatic. Critics dismissed her quiet style of leadership. But while they talked, she acted. She stayed consistent, calm, and focused. Over time, her silence and persistence made her one of the most respected and influential leaders in the world. You see, silence doesn't mean weakness. Silence means strength under control. It means you refuse to waste energy on arguments when that energy is better spent on results. Let me share a quote from Ryan Holiday's book The Obstacle is the Way. He writes, "The obstacle in the path becomes the path. Never forget, within every obstacle is an opportunity to improve our condition." Criticism is an obstacle, yes, but it's also an opportunity. An opportunity to grow tougher, sharper, and more resilient. So, how do you apply this to your own life? First, expect criticism. Don't be surprised when it comes. It's a natural sign of progress. Second, filter the words you hear. Ask yourself, is this feedback or just noise? Third, respond with silence and action. Don't defend yourself endlessly. Just let your results speak. Finally, remember that every great achiever faced critics. You are not alone in this struggle. When you adopt this mindset, critics lose their power over you. They can talk, they can doubt, they can laugh, but you keep building. One day, those same people will be forced to watch as your results stand taller than their words. Key takeaways for you. Critics discourage dreamers because your courage reminds them of their own fears and limitations. Build mental toughness by filtering words. Keep what helps, discard what hurts. Silence is a powerful weapon. Don't argue with critics, let your results speak. Every great leader and dreamer, from Theodore Roosevelt to Malala Yousafzai to Angela Merkel, faced critics and still won. So can you? If this chapter has inspired you, take a moment to reflect. Who are the critics in your life, and how can you disarm them with silence and results? Remember, your focus is your weapon, and your success will be your answer. And if you found value in this audiobook, Don't keep it to yourself, share it. Like, share, and subscribe so you never miss more powerful lessons on building yourself and winning in life. Together, let's grow in silence and shine in public. Chapter 9, Working in Silence, Practical Steps. Let me ask you a question. How many times have you felt the excitement of a new goal? Maybe it was starting a project, building a skill, or working on a dream, and before you even made progress, you told someone about it. For a moment, it felt good. You felt proud, maybe even celebrated, because people admired your ambition. But then slowly the energy faded. The plan didn't get finished. The dream lost its fire. This is the silent trap of talking too much about what you're doing. And if you've experienced it, you're not alone. Many people fall into it. But the most successful people in history understood something powerful. True growth, real change, and lasting achievement are built in silence. In this chapter, we'll dive into practical steps you can take to work in silence. We'll explore how to create an environment where you can focus, why journaling is more powerful than announcing, and how to replace talking with documenting your progress. By the end of this session, you'll have a personal blueprint for silent success. Creating a silent working environment. Your environment is your biggest ally or your biggest enemy. If you want to work in silence, you have to design a space that supports your focus. Think about it. If your workspace is filled with distractions, your phone buzzing with notifications, people constantly walking in, or noise pulling your mind away, you will never be able to fully immerse yourself in your work. Take inspiration from leaders like Angela Merkel, former Chancellor of Germany. She was known for her quiet, disciplined style of leadership. Unlike other leaders who thrived on constant publicity, Merkel worked steadily behind the scenes. She avoided unnecessary media attention, focused on preparation, and often let her results and policies speak for themselves. Her style was proof that a silent, distraction-free environment can lead to long-term influence and respect. So how can you apply this? Start small. Create a workspace where distractions are minimized. Turn off notifications when you're working. Schedule deep work sessions where no one can interrupt you. When you protect your space, you protect your silence. And when you protect your silence, you protect your progress. Journaling versus announcing. One of the most common mistakes people make is announcing their goals too soon. The moment you tell people, "I'm going to start a business," or "I'm going to lose weight," or "I'm writing a book," your brain tricks you into feeling like you've already achieved something. That false reward kills your motivation. There's a powerful alternative, journaling. Instead of announcing your plans to the world, write them down. Document your journey in a private notebook or digital journal. Not only does this keep your energy contained, but it also allows you to track your progress in real time. Take the Diary of Anne Frank as an example. Not as a success story in the traditional sense, but as a demonstration of the power of documenting. And Frank wrote quietly about her life, her hopes, and her fears, never imagining the world would one day read it. Yet her silent documentation became one of the most impactful books of the 20th century. Her private reflections moved millions, proving that writing can be more powerful than speaking. The next time you feel the urge to announce your plan, resist it. Instead, write it down. Make journaling your accountability partner. Replacing talking with documenting. Let me share something fascinating with you. A study referenced in Charles Duhigg's book The Power of Habit shows that habits grow stronger when we keep track of them. Documentation reinforces behavior because it creates visible evidence of progress. So instead of talking about your goals, document them. If you're working on your health, keep a record of your workouts and meals. If you're building a business, write down your daily wins and lessons. If you're learning a skill, log your practice hours and improvements. Consider the example of Shinzo Abe, former Prime Minister of Japan. His leadership was often described as quiet persistence. Instead of making loud declarations, Abe carefully documented strategies, monitored progress, and implemented reforms step by step. He let outcomes speak for him, and over time, he became one of the longest-serving leaders in Japan's history. His success didn't come from noise. It came from steady, silent action backed by records and consistency. The key lesson here is simple: don't talk, track. Let's make this personal. Here are a few simple exercises you can start today. Morning intention journal. Before starting your day, write down your top 3 goals for the day. Keep them private. At night, check if you achieved them. Silent workspace rule. Designate at least 1 hour a day where you work in complete silence. No phone, no social media, no interruptions. Weekly documentation review. At the end of the week, review your journal or progress log. This reflection gives you more satisfaction than public praise because it comes from real effort. Key takeaways for you. Talking about your goals too early creates false satisfaction. A silent environment increases focus and productivity. Journaling is more powerful than announcing. It keeps your energy contained. Documenting your journey builds accountability and discipline. Results, not words, create lasting respect and recognition. Remember this: silence is not weakness, it is strength. Every time you resist the urge to tell, you are feeding the fire of your success. Every time you document instead of announce, you are building a legacy that will one day speak louder than any words. So keep working, keep documenting, and let the results do the talking. When the time comes, the world will not just hear about your success, they will see it. If this chapter inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this audiobook, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more powerful lessons that can transform your focus and your life. Remember, stay silent, stay focused, and let your results shine in public. Chapter 10. The importance of small wins. Have you ever started something big, a dream, a project, a new habit, and given up halfway because it felt too overwhelming? This is one of the biggest reasons why people don't reach their goals. They look at the mountain in front of them, and instead of focusing on the first step, they stare at the peak and convince themselves it's impossible. But here's the truth: no one conquers a mountain in one giant leap. They climb it step by step, with small, steady wins. And that is exactly what we're going to talk about in this chapter. The power of small wins, why they matter, and how they can fuel your consistency until you reach unstoppable momentum. Let's break this down together. Celebrating progress privately. When most people think of success, they imagine one big, dramatic breakthrough. But in reality, true success is built quietly, brick by brick, through small victories that no one else sees. Think about it. The first day you commit to waking up earlier than usual is a win. The first time you choose to focus instead of scrolling endlessly on your phone is a win. Finishing a book that you promised yourself you would read is a win. These may seem small, but each one moves you forward. The mistake many make is ignoring these wins. They brush them off, waiting for the big achievement that everyone can applaud. But if you don't learn to celebrate your small progress, you'll lose the fuel that keeps you consistent. A great example is Barack Obama. Long before becoming president, he was just a young lawyer and community organizer. He didn't start his career by aiming for the presidency. Instead, he focused on smaller battles, helping people organize for better housing, fighting for small reforms, making a difference at the local level. These were his small wins. Over time, these wins built credibility, resilience, and momentum that carried him into larger roles. His story shows that private victories, stacked over time, create a foundation for public triumph. Why small wins fuel consistency. The human brain thrives on progress. In the book The Progress Principle by Teresa Amabile and Stephen Kramer, the authors explain that one of the most powerful ways to stay motivated is to make small, meaningful progress every day. They call it the progress loop. Each time you accomplish something, even something tiny, you release a sense of satisfaction that keeps you going. Think of it like this. A writer doesn't finish a 300-page book in one sitting. They write a page today, a page tomorrow, and another the next day. Each finished page is a small win that fuels the motivation to keep going. Another example is Angela Merkel, former Chancellor of Germany. She didn't rise to become one of the most influential leaders in Europe overnight. She started with small steps, serving in minor political roles, learning the system, gaining trust, and making progress one decision at a time. Each small victory in her early career built her consistency and positioned her for larger leadership responsibilities later on. Small wins act like stepping stones. If you skip them, you'll feel lost and discouraged. But if you honor them, you'll keep walking forward, no matter how long the journey. Turning private victories into unstoppable momentum. Momentum is one of the most powerful forces in life. When you start small and remain consistent, your small wins begin to multiply. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill. It starts tiny, but as it keeps rolling, it grows larger and faster until nothing can stop it. Take the example of Jacinda Ardern, the former Prime Minister of New Zealand. She started her career in politics at a very young age, taking on smaller roles that most people overlooked. But she treated those small positions seriously, learning, growing, and stacking up wins that later gave her the experience and reputation to lead her country at a national level. Each private victory prepared her for the big stage where her leadership became visible to the world. This is the power of small wins. They create momentum that no amount of talk can replace. When you prove to yourself in private that you can take action and follow through, you build unstoppable confidence. And when you build confidence, you become a force no one can ignore. Key takeaways for you. Value small wins. Stop waiting for the big break. Instead, notice and celebrate every small victory you achieve, even if no one else sees it. Fuel your consistency. Remember, small wins keep you motivated. They train your brain to stay engaged, and over time, they help you stay disciplined. Stack momentum. Treat every small step as a building block. Over time, these blocks create a foundation strong enough to hold massive success. Stay private. Not every win needs to be broadcasted. Learn to enjoy progress quietly, knowing that when the time is right, the world will see the result of your silent effort. So the next time you feel discouraged because your big dream feels too far away, pause. Look at the small victories you've already had. Did you wake up on time today? That's a win. Did you focus for one uninterrupted hour? That's a win. Did you resist the urge to quit? That's a win. Don't underestimate these moments. They are not small, they are powerful signals that you are moving forward. And as long as you keep stacking them, one day, you'll wake up and realize that your private victories have grown into unstoppable public success. Remember this. Big success is nothing more than the accumulation of small wins, repeated daily in silence. If this chapter inspired you, I invite you to take a moment right now to reflect on your small wins today. Write them down, no matter how tiny they seem. And before you move on, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to this channel for more powerful lessons that will help you focus in silence and win in public. Your journey to greatness has already begun, one small win at a time. Chapter 11. Networking without oversharing. Have you ever walked into a room, eager to make connections, and found yourself talking more about your plans than actually listening to others? Many people think that networking is about selling themselves or broadcasting every detail of their vision. But the truth is, the strongest connections are not built on oversharing. They're built on trust, curiosity, and strategic silence. In this chapter, we're going to dive into how you can network powerfully without giving away your entire playbook. You'll learn how to connect with the right people, ask the right questions, and build alliances that move you forward, without exposing your goals too early. Why oversharing hurts networking? When you reveal too much too soon, three things happen. You invite unnecessary opinions. People may discourage you, criticize your ideas, or worse, copy them. You lose mystery and influence. The less people know, the more curious they become about you. You shift from connection to performance. Instead of building a relationship, you end up trying to impress. Networking should never feel like a stage performance. It's not about convincing others of your greatness. It's about creating meaningful bonds that can later grow into opportunities. Connect without revealing plans. Let me give you an example. Imagine a young professional attending a business summit. Instead of walking around saying, I'm building this new project that will change the industry. They approach conversations differently. They introduce themselves simply, then turn the focus to others. What kind of projects are you working on right now? That approach not only shifts the pressure away, but also makes the other person feel seen and valued. And here's the magic. When people talk about themselves, they naturally become more interested in you. It's a paradox. By saying less about yourself, you actually make people want to know more. One world leader who understood this very well was Barack Obama. Before he became president, he built his career by listening more than he spoke. During his early years in community organizing and politics, he spent hours listening to people's concerns rather than constantly promoting his own plans. This earned him trust, credibility, and alliances that later carried him to the highest office. Ask the right questions instead of bragging. One of the best tools in networking is the power of questions. Oversharers try to dominate the conversation. Strategic connectors know that the person asking thoughtful questions always controls the room. Here are some examples of powerful networking questions you can use. What inspired you to do the work you're doing now? What's the biggest challenge you're currently facing? If you could go back 5 years, what advice would you give yourself? These questions don't just create meaningful dialogue. They also allow you to learn. And when you learn, you gain insights that can help you grow faster than if you were only talking about your own journey. As Dale Carnegie famously wrote in How to Win Friends and Influence People, you can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get people interested in you. Carnegie's 1936. That principle remains timeless. Building alliances strategically. Now, let's be clear. Networking without oversharing doesn't mean you should hide everything about yourself. It means you should reveal information strategically, at the right time, and to the right people. Think of it like chess. You don't show your entire strategy in the opening moves. You position yourself carefully, observing your opponent, waiting for the right moment to strike. Here's how you build alliances strategically. Start with rapport. Focus on shared interests or values. For example, if someone loves travel, connect over places you've visited rather than launching into your business plan. Offer value first. Before asking for anything, think, what can I give this person? Maybe it's sharing a useful resource, introducing them to someone, or simply encouraging their work. Slowly reveal your vision. When the relationship feels stronger, share your goals in pieces. Test their reaction. If they respond with support, share more. If they seem uninterested or dismissive, keep it minimal. Create win-win opportunities. The strongest alliances are not built on one-sided gain. They grow when both parties see mutual benefit. Consider Angela Merkel, former Chancellor of Germany. She was known for her calm, quiet style in politics. Instead of announcing bold moves publicly or oversharing her strategies, she built strong alliances by patiently listening to leaders, building trust, and speaking strategically. Her ability to connect without bragging allowed her to become one of the most influential leaders in the world for over a decade. Practical example you can apply today. Next time you attend an event, try this exercise. Spend the first 10 minutes of each conversation asking questions. Limit how much you share about your goals to no more than 2 sentences. Write down what you learned about each person afterward. You'll be surprised at how much stronger the connection feels, because you listened instead of performing. Key takeaways for you. Oversharing weakens influence. Keep your plans private until they're strong enough to stand on their own. Ask, don't brag. Thoughtful questions build deeper relationships than self-promotion. Strategic alliances grow slowly. Reveal your vision step by step, to the right people at the right time. Power lies in listening. The less you talk, the more you learn, and the more powerful your presence becomes. Remember, networking isn't about how loud you can shout about yourself. It's about planting seeds of trust, curiosity, and respect. When you connect without oversharing, people don't just remember you, they value you. And in time, those connections will open doors you never imagined. If this chapter has given you a new perspective on how to network with power and silence, Don't keep it to yourself. Like this audiobook, share it with someone who needs this wisdom, and subscribe for more powerful lessons on self-mastery. Your journey to silent success is just beginning. Chapter 12, Mental Resilience, Winning Against Self-Doubt. Have you ever wondered why sometimes, after sharing your dreams with others, you suddenly start doubting yourself? It's almost as if the moment you speak it out loud, fear begins to creep in. People question you, they raise their eyebrows, they remind you of risks, and before you know it, your own mind starts echoing their doubts. This is not a coincidence. Self-doubt grows louder when we expose our fragile dreams too early. Our ideas are like seeds. When planted, they need quiet soil, water, and time before they can grow strong enough to survive the wind. If you expose them too early, before the roots are deep, even a small storm of criticism can uproot them. Think about it. How many times have you told someone your plan, only to suddenly feel unworthy of it yourself? You start asking, what if they're right? What if I fail? This is why silence is powerful. Silence protects confidence. And confidence is the shield you need to fight self-doubt. Why self-doubt grows when you share too much. Self-doubt thrives on external voices. Imagine a young athlete telling everyone, "I'll be the best in the world one day." The moment those words leave their mouth, people begin to whisper, "That's impossible. Do you know how many fail? Who do you think you are?" Suddenly, the athlete isn't just battling the inner critic, they're fighting the opinions of others too. Contrast that with another athlete who says nothing but trains relentlessly. No outside voices to battle. No critics to prove wrong. Only private discipline, day after day, until one day the world sees the results. A powerful example of this is Angela Merkel, former Chancellor of Germany. Merkel wasn't the type to boast about her ambitions. In fact, she was famously quiet, often underestimated because she rarely spoke about what she would do next. But behind the silence was resilience. When her country faced some of the hardest challenges in modern European history, she was steady, calm, and focused. She didn't waste energy on critics, she stayed the course. Her quiet but firm mental resilience carried her through years of leadership, and the world respected her for results, not empty promises. Her story reminds us that silence is not weakness. It is power under control. Daily affirmations and mindset training. Now, let's get personal. How do you build the same kind of resilience? It starts with your inner voice. If you don't train your mind, the doubts of others will become your doubts. But when your inner voice is strong, it doesn't matter what anyone says. One of the simplest tools is daily affirmations. Words are powerful. The more you repeat a thought, the deeper it sinks into your subconscious. If you start every day by saying, "I am capable of achieving my goals. I trust my process, even if no one else sees it. My silence is my power. My results will speak for me." Something incredible happens. Your mind starts to believe it. But don't just say it mechanically. Feel it. Picture yourself succeeding as you speak. See the version of yourself who is already confident, already winning, already resilient. This mental rehearsal creates a new reality inside you long before the outside world notices. Sports psychologists often use this technique with athletes. Muhammad Ali, the world boxing champion, used to say, "I am the greatest," long before the world believed him. His affirmations built resilience, so when doubt came, he already had a stronger belief inside him than any critic could break. Protecting your confidence. Your confidence is like armor. Without it, self-doubt pierces you easily. With it, you can keep moving even when storms come. But here's the truth. Confidence is fragile when you depend on people's opinions to fuel it. If you share your plans too early and wait for validation, your confidence will rise and fall based on what others say. Instead, protect your confidence by keeping it private. Don't ask for approval. Don't seek applause. Build your confidence through action. When you do the work daily, your results become the proof you need. Let's take an example. Barack Obama, before becoming President of the United States, faced immense doubt. People told him the odds were impossible. Yet, he didn't waste time arguing with critics. He focused on his vision, prepared relentlessly, and carried himself with resilience. Even when challenged, his calm and steady presence became his strength. He didn't need to shout about what he was going to do. He proved it through results. Protecting your confidence means choosing wisely whom you listen to. Not every voice deserves access to your dreams. If a voice doesn't feed your faith, it feeds your doubt. And you cannot afford to let your confidence be eaten away. Key takeaways for you. Let's break this down into clear, actionable steps you can start applying today. Keep your goals private until strong. Like seedlings, protect them until they have roots deep enough to survive criticism. Use affirmations daily. Rewire your inner voice to become your strongest supporter. Build confidence through action. Let your results, not your words, be the proof of your ability. Filter voices carefully. Don't let negative people water the seeds of self-doubt in your mind. Remember the stories of resilient leaders. Quiet strength always outlasts loud talk. Self-doubt will always whisper. It's part of being human, but you are not powerless against it. When you work in silence, protect your dreams, and strengthen your inner voice, you build resilience that no critic can break. Like the leaders we've seen, your quiet focus can lead to victories far louder than any speech. So the next time you feel the urge to announce your plans, pause. Ask yourself, do I want validation now or victory later? Choose victory. Protect your confidence. Win in silence. And the world will have no choice but to listen when your results speak. If this chapter spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this audiobook, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and make sure you subscribe so you never miss the next step in your journey of growth. Remember, silence is power, resilience is strength, and your victory will be the loudest sound of all. Chapter 13, The Day of Public Victory. Imagine this. You've been working in silence for months, maybe even years. No one really knows what you've been building. Some people doubted you, others ignored you, and a few might have laughed behind your back. But you kept going. Quietly. Consistently. With focus and discipline. And then one day, the results are so visible, so undeniable, that the very people who once doubted you now stand in awe. This is the day of public victory. It's that moment when your results speak louder than any explanation you could ever give. And here's the truth. Results are the most powerful proof of success. You don't need to defend your choices, explain your journey, or justify your decisions. The world listens to outcomes, not excuses. Let's look at a powerful example. Think of Angela Merkel, the former Chancellor of Germany. She was never the loudest politician in the room. In fact, she was often described as quiet, reserved, and measured in her approach. For years, many underestimated her because she wasn't flamboyant or overly dramatic. Yet, through her calm persistence, Merkel became one of the most respected leaders in the world, guiding her country through major economic and political challenges. Her results, the stability she created and the trust she earned, spoke louder than any speech. Her victory was not in what she said, but in what she achieved. Another example is Lee Kuan Yew, the founding Prime Minister of Singapore. When he started, Singapore was a small, struggling nation with almost no resources. Critics doubted its survival. But Lee worked with vision, focus, and discipline. He didn't spend his energy trying to silence critics with words. Instead, he built a system that turned Singapore into one of the most successful economies in the world. His results silenced every doubt. That was his day of public victory. There's a timeless lesson here. Silence during the struggle makes the victory louder. Why results speak louder than explanations? Think about it. When you explain your goals, people can question them. When you explain your struggles, people can doubt you. But when you show results, there's no debate. People may argue with your words, but they can't argue with your success. Author Ryan Holiday once wrote in his book Ego is the Enemy. Impressing people is utterly different from being truly impressive. That quote is a reminder that chasing recognition through words is empty, but creating undeniable results is lasting. Results don't just impress others, they inspire respect. Your results are your story. They're your legacy. And the best part is that results require no introduction. When you walk into a room with visible success, whether that's financial stability, physical transformation, or professional achievement, people notice. You don't have to announce it. How to handle recognition with humility. Now, here's where many people fall. The day of public victory can be dangerous if it fills you with pride. Success has a way of tempting us to forget the journey and start believing we are untouchable. But true greatness is found in humility. Let's look at Jacinda Ardern, the former Prime Minister of New Zealand. During her time in leadership, she gained international recognition for her calm, empathetic, and effective style of leadership. Even when the world applauded her for her decisive actions during crises, she carried herself with humility. She often redirected praise toward her team and her country rather than keeping it for herself. That's the mark of true leadership, knowing that victory is not just about you, but about the collective effort that brought you there. Humility makes your success sustainable. Arrogance makes it short-lived. When people see that you can win and still remain grounded, their respect for you grows even deeper. Preparing for success without arrogance. Preparation for victory isn't just about doing the work. It's about preparing your mind for what comes after the recognition. The question is, are you ready to handle success without letting it destroy your character? Here are a few ways to prepare yourself. Always remember where you started. Success is built on a foundation of challenges, mistakes, and sacrifices. Keeping that memory alive will keep you humble. Redirect the spotlight. When people praise you, acknowledge the people, systems, and even the failures that helped you get there. Success is rarely a solo journey. Keep building. The danger of success is comfort. Don't stop when you win publicly. See it as a new beginning. As basketball legend Michael Jordan once said, "Earn your leadership every day. Stay silent even in victory." Just because the world is now listening doesn't mean you should start talking too much. Stay disciplined. Let your actions continue to lead. Key takeaways for you. Results are louder than words. Don't waste your energy explaining. Focus on producing results that speak for themselves. Stay humble in victory. Recognition is a gift, but humility keeps it from becoming poison. Prepare mentally for success. True victory is not just achieving your goals, but maintaining your character after achieving them. Silence is still your power. Even when the spotlight finds you, keep the same discipline that got you there. Your day of public victory will come if you stay consistent. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but every step you take in silence is preparing you for it. Remember, the world doesn't need your explanations. It needs your results. And when those results show, handle them with humility, prepare for more, and keep moving forward. This is your time. Don't announce it. Prove it. If this chapter spoke to you, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. By doing so, you're not just supporting this channel. You're joining a community of people committed to self-improvement and silent success. Let's grow together. Chapter 14, Case Studies of Silent Winners. Have you ever noticed how the most remarkable transformations in history often come from those who did their work quietly, away from the spotlight, only to surprise the world when the results became undeniable? That is the essence of silent winning. You don't announce, you prepare. You don't explain, you execute. You don't seek approval, you let your success make the noise. In this chapter, let's dive into powerful case studies of individuals who chose silence over noise, focus over distraction, and patience over premature recognition, and in the end, shocked the world. Case Study 1, The Quiet Reformer. There was once a leader who dedicated his life to rebuilding his nation after decades of division and hardship. Unlike his peers, he didn't fill his speeches with lofty promises or constant declarations of what he would achieve. Instead, he worked quietly on reforms that touched education, infrastructure, and economic systems. Many underestimated him because he didn't speak much about his plans. But when his policies began to bear fruit, when cities became stronger and the people started to thrive, the silence turned into a roar of recognition. His story teaches us this. You don't need to broadcast your plans for them to matter. Work silently, let time water your seeds, and soon the harvest will speak louder than any announcement ever could. Case Study 2, The Steadfast Builder. Another silent winner was a world leader who took charge of a war-torn land. Instead of seeking validation by telling other nations what he intended to do, he quietly rallied his people, built trust step by step, and restored hope one project at a time. Outsiders doubted him at first because he didn't indulge in endless speeches. Yet, years later, the same world that doubted him was praising his nation's miraculous transformation. This example reminds us, silence is not weakness. Silence is strength under control. True leaders know when to speak and when to remain silent. And often, silence is the space where progress grows strongest. Case Study 3, The Visionary Innovator. Not all silent winners are political leaders. Some are pioneers in science and technology. Think of an innovator who locked himself away, experimenting endlessly in private, while critics mocked his strange ideas. He did not waste time debating with them. He didn't announce every trial or every failure. Instead, he kept working silently. One day, his invention changed the way humanity communicates and interacts forever. The same critics who laughed at him became customers of his innovation. This is the power of silence. When you protect your vision from noise, you allow it to grow freely. And when it's ready, it will not only speak for itself but also silence every critic. Case Study 4, The Patient Leader. There was also a quiet leader who believed in unity over division. While others fought for attention by shouting loudly and constantly broadcasting their agendas, he chose the silent route, working patiently on peace treaties, building bridges across cultures, and never revealing too much until the right moment. When the world finally saw the results of his work, he became a symbol of reconciliation. His life teaches us that true change is not rushed, and true success does not need a microphone. It grows silently until the day it blossoms before everyone's eyes. Lessons from silent winners. So what do these silent winners teach us? Silence protects your vision. When you announce your plans too soon, you invite doubt, criticism, and envy that can kill your momentum. By staying quiet, you allow your dreams to grow roots. Consistency beats noise. Talking about success doesn't build it. Small, consistent actions done privately are what build unshakable results. Results are the loudest voice. No one can argue with results. People may doubt your words, but they cannot doubt your achievements. Silence strengthens focus. Every time you choose silence, you're choosing concentration over distraction. There is a line from Robert Greene's book The 48 Laws of Power that says, "Always say less than necessary." This quote is a reminder that power often lies in restraint. By speaking less, you not only protect your plans but also increase the weight of your actions when they finally come to light. Imagine this. You are working on a personal project, maybe building a business, developing a new skill, or transforming your health. If you go around telling everyone about it, you'll feel the rush of approval before you've even done the hard work. That fake sense of achievement will kill your drive. But if you stay quiet, use that energy to work in silence, and only reveal your results when they are undeniable, you create a shock factor that no words can replace. Ask yourself right now, what dream am I talking too much about? And then make a decision. Stop talking, start building. Your silence will become your greatest strength. Key takeaways for you. Don't announce your goals, nurture them. Let your success be your announcement. Silence is not emptiness, it is strategy. Protect your energy from noise, focus it on execution. Surprise the world with results, not with words. The silent winners of history didn't win because they shouted the loudest. They won because they worked the hardest, focused the deepest, and spoke the least. Let their lives inspire you to embrace the same principle. From this moment on, stop broadcasting your goals. Let your work grow in private. And when the time is right, let your results shock the world. And if this message resonates with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it so someone else can learn the power of silence. Remember to like this audiobook, share it with a friend who needs this wisdom, and subscribe for more life-changing insights. Because your silent journey is just beginning. and your loudest victory is yet to come. Chapter 15: Living the Silent Success Lifestyle. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to move through life with quiet confidence, never announcing their plans, yet their achievements are so powerful that the world cannot ignore them? That's not luck, it's a lifestyle. It's the art of living in silence, focusing deeply, staying disciplined, and letting results speak louder than words. At this stage of your journey, you've learned why silence matters, how to protect your energy, and how to build discipline. But the real question is, how do you make this a permanent way of life? How do you ensure that you're not just practicing silence for a few weeks, but you're building a mindset that lasts a lifetime? Silence as a way of living. To live a silent success lifestyle, you must first understand that silence is not weakness, and it is not isolation. Silence is strategy. When you keep your goals, your dreams, and your struggles to yourself, you create a sacred space where your energy is directed only towards progress, not towards defending, explaining, or justifying your actions to others. Take the example of Angela Merkel, the former Chancellor of Germany. She was known worldwide as one of the quietest yet most influential leaders of her time. Merkel never sought the spotlight with grand speeches or dramatic gestures. Instead, she led with quiet consistency, careful decision-making, and focus. The result? She became one of the longest-serving leaders in modern history, respected for her calm and disciplined style. Living in silence means understanding that it's not about the noise you make, it's about the results you produce. Focus is a permanent habit. Focus is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. Many people live scattered lives, chasing one dream today and another tomorrow. But those who master focus, those who commit to one direction and stick to it, are the ones who create extraordinary results. Consider the story of Aung San Suu Kyi, who, despite years of house arrest, never wavered in her focus on democracy for her people. Regardless of your opinion about her later political journey, her earlier years show a powerful example of focus. She remained silent, steadfast, and disciplined until the world could no longer ignore her. Her story teaches us that focus creates resilience, and resilience creates breakthroughs. To live the silent success lifestyle, ask yourself daily, am I focused on what matters, or am I distracted by noise? Discipline as a lifestyle, not a phase. Discipline is often mistaken for restriction, but in reality, it's freedom. When you're disciplined, you're free from distractions, free from self-doubt, and free from regret. Discipline creates consistency, and consistency is the bridge between silence and success. Look at Lee Kuan Yew, the founding father of modern Singapore. He built a nation not by making noise, but by applying strict discipline, both personally and in governance. He understood that noise does not build nations, focus and discipline do. Today, his legacy stands as proof that a disciplined lifestyle creates results that echo far louder than words. If you want to build this lifestyle for yourself, create daily habits that align with your goals. Wake up with a plan. Protect your time. Stay disciplined even when no one is watching. A blueprint for personal self-improvement. So how do you apply all of this in your own life? Let's break it into a simple blueprint you can start using today. Protect your vision. Stop announcing your plans prematurely. Write them down in a private journal instead of talking about them. Master your routine. Build a daily system of habits that move you closer to your goals. Success is not about intensity. It's about consistency. Track your progress. Instead of telling people what you're working on, track your small wins. This will give you momentum without the need for external validation. Surround yourself wisely. Spend time with people who inspire you, not those who drain you. Energy is contagious. Choose carefully. Celebrate quietly. Learn to reward yourself privately. Not every win needs to be broadcast. Some of your greatest victories are the ones you enjoy silently. This blueprint transforms silence, focus, and discipline from occasional practices into your permanent lifestyle. There's a quote in Ryan Holiday's book, Ego is the Enemy, that says, "Talking depletes us. Doing is what matters." Ryan Holiday, 2016. That's the essence of the silent success lifestyle. Stop telling the world what you will do. Stop wasting your energy trying to prove yourself with words. Instead, use that energy to build, to create, to discipline yourself, and to focus until your results are undeniable. Think of the people you admire most, the inventors, leaders, and entrepreneurs who reshaped history. They didn't spend their time announcing their every step. They worked in silence, and when their results appeared, the world had no choice but to listen. You too have that power. You don't need to convince anyone with your words. Your success will speak for itself. So from today, live quietly, work silently, and let your achievements shine so brightly that no one can ignore them. Remember, win quietly, shine loudly. Key takeaways for you. Silence is a strategy, not weakness. Protect your vision. Focus is a muscle. Train it daily to achieve extraordinary results. Discipline creates consistency, and consistency builds legacy. Your greatest victories often don't need to be announced. They just need to be lived. The world doesn't listen to noise. It respects results. If this audiobook has inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And now, as we come to the end of this journey, remember this truth. Real success is not about the noise you make, but about the results you produce. Talking may bring temporary attention, but silence builds permanent impact. The greatest victories are not announced in advance. They arrive like the sunrise, undeniable and unstoppable. You have the tools. You have the blueprint. Now it's up to you to apply them. Protect your vision, focus on your path, and discipline yourself to keep moving forward, no matter how small the steps may feel. One day, your results will speak so loudly that the same people who doubted you will have no choice but to listen. So go out and live the silent success lifestyle. Win quietly, shine loudly, and let your life become the proof of your discipline, your focus, and your determination. Thank you for listening to this audiobook. If this message has inspired you, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to the channel for more powerful insights on personal growth and success. Until next time, stay focused, stay disciplined, and let your results do the talking.